Play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bob says Nico gonna find Rainer.
Oh, the life finder keeps Maev up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the NGS Rewind. It's Sunday afternoon and that means that it's time to go back and take a look at some of the matches that have not yet been able to be cast in the last, well in this case it's going to be the last week plus. Little bit, I think there's a little bit of overlap. I'm your host Aero. Today I'll be joined by Ektar, Chaotic, and Butte Holiday, but those are going to be coming later. This first matchup here was just before the patch, and so it makes it a little bit more of a pain in the neck to work with a co-caster. So the first match, which is going to be from Division D West, is going to be the Baddest Dudez and, excuse me, Full Meta Jacket. And that is going to, that's going to be a matchup here pre-playoffs. In fact, almost all of these are pre-playoffs. We do have one playoff game that'll be at the very end of the day. So let's take a quick look here. The Baddest Dudez and Full Meta Jacket. Our maps... Oops, I didn't change all of the music apparently. Our maps here, we had bans coming out on Sky Temple. Sorry, that was the pick. Wow, I'm all over the place today. The pick was Sky Temple, that was by the Baddest Dudez. The bans were Dragonshire and Battlefield of Eternity for Baddest Dudez, and Alterac Pass and Full Sky Foundry for Full Meta Jacket. Now, with this being a replay cast, there's no draft, and there's no waiting around for teams. So we're pretty much gonna just go ahead and hop right into it. And while we get the game to load here, I will tell you what the heroes... Oh, that's right. I'm going to have to adjust the sound and everything. Well, we'll deal with that when we get there. But anyways, the heroes, I'll tell you about the heroes that were banned. So let's see. The Baddest Dudez banned out Kira, Dahaka, and Diablo. Full Meta Jacket banned out Anubarak, Arthas, and Kael'thas. That's all there is to say about that. So we'll be just a moment here while the game loads up so that I can adjust the sound settings a little bit. Otherwise it gets very awkward on the stream. But unfortunately it disconnects you from Battle.net anytime you want to watch one of these replays from prior to the patch, if it's not your own replay, I guess. Alright, so let's turn that off and get this sound fixed here. Nice if there was just a way to set a profile and just say, do that. Let's see. Okay. I think we are all set and ready to go, so let's get into game number one here on Sky Temple between the Baddest Dudez and Full Meta Jacket. Alright, let's see. How is our game overlay looking? Does that work? That kind of works. We'll turn it off in a minute. On the left, we've got the Baddest Dudez. Cactus Ham playing Sylvanas, Tutimos on Rhaegar, Rondertaker on Johanna, Savior 123 on Jaina, and Hacktrick gonna be playing Mal'Ganis. And on the right for Full Meta Jacket, we've got Barber on Greymane, Juggerab on Orphea, Undead 752 on Yrel, Modus Trollin on Brightwing, and Runtime Logic on Muradin. So let's go ahead and get rid of the overlay here. Source. I don't think... Yeah, okay. We won't be popping that up too much here unless we're looking at specific towns, but I think I can even hover over them if I want to. Yep. So we have a cocktail build coming out for Greymane, so that's a little bit different than normal. There was an update that gave cocktail a little bit more value, so we'll see how much of that Greymane goes into here. Got Yrel in the top lane with a 3-man push coming out from Mal'Ganis, Jaina, and Sylvanas here. Brightwing gonna go ahead and phase shift in and try to help to slow down the push. That tower there getting down to about 15-20% health from that initial burst coming out from Sylvanas. And taking a look at the other talents here, Jaina going into the, is it Winter's Chill? Lingering Chill for that level 1, increasing the amount of time on the chill effects. So we'll see her building into that. Probably taking Arcane Intellect there at level 4 as well. And early in the game here, we're going to get Sylvanas and team picking up this camp. They want to get as much value in top lane as possible to push this down so that when the shrines come up, the temples rather, they can make sure that they guarantee that top fort goes down. But in addition, okay, so an aggressive camp invade here coming in from the Full Meta Jacket team. Who are the teams? I'll pop them back up for you here. I had it turned off just because of the overlay. It goes over the talents there. And with the rotation down, having completed their camp, Baddest Dudes are able to secure their Siege Giants without any significant trouble there. Level 4 is now available here for both teams, as we do see that Arcane Intellect for the Jaina. And Hyper Shift for the Brightwing, allowing Brightwing to zip around the map a little bit and be where she needs to be when they need her. But with the camp pushing up top here, Mal'Ganis going to pull back, but ultimately they do get the kill onto the tower and follow up with the wall here. Siege Camp in the bottom, though, is going to get some value here with the Sylvanas and Johanna to provide some cover here. First tower goes down in the bot lane, and with the Merc Queen, these Giants are actually getting pretty significant value here. Once again, as mentioned, Brightwing with that phase shift, going to pop on down here, and she'll be able to zip back up somewhat soon as she gets 2-second cooldown reduction for each minion. But it's a fairly lengthy cooldown to begin with, so she's pretty well out of the battle for the temples for a short while. But as mentioned, we're going to see the Baddest Dudes coming up for the top lane, trying to make sure that they can secure the kill onto this top tower, this top fort. And Johanna just doing what she can to slow down in the middle, keep them from getting the damage onto the ads with those blinds. And the Brightwing now probably does have phase shift back. Let's take a look here. There we go. Oh, what is it, 8? There we go. So yeah, it does have phase shift back and available, but popping that pixie dust doesn't have a lot of mana here, but gets out of dodge as the team rotates down. And as we saw, the top fort does go down thanks to the pressure coming from that first temple phase. Rotation down from Orphea and Muradin, getting onto the Sylvanas, just making sure that she can't continue to keep pressure in this bot lane here. But ultimately, just getting some soak on. Not a whole lot of, you know, significant skirmishing here. Still no kills in this game as Greymane working on his siege camp. A siege camp for the Baddest Dudes coming up in 10 seconds here. We do see the assist pings being called, notifying that Greymane is on the camp there, but a little bit too late to come in and do anything about it. And Muradin jumping in, trying to get the body block onto Johanna, misses with the Stormbolt, so Johanna will just casually stroll on by. And with this now, we've got 4v4 here in the bot lane. Up in the top, we've got Yrel and Mal'Ganis. Seems pretty evenly matched up there here. But with this siege camp now, Full Meta Jacket making their push in the bottom. But it doesn't provide them the same armor bonus that Bruiser camp does, so they have to be a little bit more careful than they might be if they had a Bruiser camp down here. And now, Temple's coming up here in 20 seconds, a little bit less now. And that's going to give the Siege Giants over here for the Baddest Dudes. We're going to see Greymane rotating up to get to the Bruiser camp. And that's really good timing for getting the Bruisers, because that's going to allow them to push up in the top lane while the Baddest Dudes are down here on the point. Level 10's approaching quickly here for the Baddest Dudes. Full Meta Jacket's still about a half level behind, as Runtime Logic jumping out there, getting away, making sure that he doesn't get caught out here. But let's take a look at some of these heroics. So we've got for the Rhaegar Ancestral Healing, Wailing Arrow for Sylvanas. Water Elemental for Jaina, the Blessed Shield for Johanna. It looks like Carrion Swarm for Mal'Ganis here. Level 10 is available for both teams, so we do have Full Meta Jacket rotating in here, separating the team out. Eternal Feast going down. Getting a silence out there from the Aero, I believe. And Jaina's by herself in the back, trying to get some damage out here and keep time on the temple. But Hacktrick in a lot of danger there with that Emerald Wind. Tries to pop the Carrion Swarm, but just not quite able to get it out. And that's going to be first blood, and still, so far, the only kill. All the way up to level 10s here. Alright, so what else did we get? So we've got the Avatar for Muradin. We did see that Emerald Wind Eternal Feast coming out from Brightwing and Orphea. Looks like the Cursed Bullet for Greymane and Ardent Defender for Yrel. And take a look at this camp. Already got the wall down, took out the towers. And Cactus Hand getting up here before it can do any more damage and take out the well. But because of that rotation and because of the damage that this bottom temple was able to do here, it's going to allow Full Meta Jacket to get right onto this bottom fort and take it down. Maybe? Greymane a little low there, having to wait for the minions to arrive. But it does look like they will be able to secure it, even with Johanna showing up to the party. All right, and once again, these quick rotations onto the camps right when they're spawning here, making sure that they're keeping that macro pressure going whenever possible. Siege or the Bruiser camp up in about 2 minutes here, and that'll be in the neighborhood of when these next temples spawn, the bot lane and the top lane. And it looks like Runtime Logic heading down there with Barber to stall things out in the bot lane. Not really looking for fights here. They're pretty much just trying to clean up and push back with the potential that Sylph provides here. But now with Rhaegar showing up to the party, this is a little bit more... Never mind. I was going to say it's a little bit more balanced in favor of the Baddest Dudes. But Orphea came in as well. But now, I mean, they know that this camp is available. It just came available here a little bit ago. So we're going to see 4v4 here action right onto this point. Keeping in mind, of course, that Brightwing does have Emerald Wind. And level 13 is available for both teams as well. Runtime Logic in a lot of trouble. Looked like he got interrupted from his jump. Possibly from the... probably from the Blessed Shield, based on the timing there. I was going to say possibly from Condemn, but I didn't see it. And that's going to give the bottom temple then, with Mal'Ganis down here in the bot lane as well, over to the Baddest Dudes, with the top temple going up for Full Meta Jacket currently. So now a 1-for-1 here so far. 2 total kills in this game. Could potentially be about to be 3, as Greymane was able to jump in there onto the Jaina, but not quite able to secure the kill. fair enough, Somniorium. Somniorium. So that eliminates all of the forts for both teams. So pretty even here. Like, it's actually really impressive how close this game is. The front line of defenses completely removed. 1 kill on either side for the most part, keeping it pretty steady, pretty balanced. Let's take a look. Obviously the slight XP, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I can't look at that stat. Never mind. But face checking that bush was Orphea. And suddenly Johanna feels bad. So now we've doubled our kill count on the side of the Baddest Dudes here. We're going to see this rotation coming up from the Baddest Dudes into the Bruiser camp. And with Orphea dead, this kind of a difficult proposition for Full Meta Jacket to want to come in on. You know, Reavers are expensive. They're like 1,600 of those Doritos. Can't just be dropping those on any old Reaver, you know? So, with the Bruiser camp, Full Meta Jacket comes down and gets the Siege camp, and it's just a moment before Rhaegar and Sylvanas are here to show up and try to contest. But they're not going to be able to get it. Probably going to kick her from the team. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. If you don't have the right mount, get off the team. So lots of activity in this boss region. Not necessarily that they're looking at it, but being mindful of its presence. And level 16 is available here for the Baddest Dudes. Again, on the left here. Looks like, I believe that's the root for Jaina. Oh, it's not. It's not. That's the one that's kind of greenish. So this is the armor penalty, actually. So she's going to get a lot more out of that potential burst combo when she uses Cone of Cold. But this is questionable here with Hacktrick in the middle of everybody here, having to use Carrion Swarm to get away, but now it's a 5v4 in the other direction. Brightwing probably going to be coming in here soon. There she is. Gets that Emerald Wind and pushes everybody back. So gets the disengage. And it looks like Yrel's setting up to leap on to somebody should they come in, but ultimately, Baddest Dudes, again, very even in XP here, have not yet started to come in, but here they go. Johanna into the backline, but now she's trying to pull the Yrel off of her team, and it's going to be Rhaegar that pays the price as the Curse Bullet coming in. Orphea coming in with that Q. I don't know the name of the ability, but Wailing Arrow goes out. It's not going to be enough to save Savior. And with that engage and a 2-for-0 kill, we're going to see Full Meta Jacket making their way to picking up this boss. And with this boss now, not only the boss, but they'll be able to pick up the bottom tower. This should be a keep. Bottom tower, I mean bottom temple. Johanna just keeping everybody honest, making sure they know she's nearby here. Savior, you are the chosen one. Wonder how, does it show us on this one it doesn't even show us on this the baseline quest. Well, you know what we can do? We can take a look at Jaina there. So 9560 on her quest. So no ice block just yet for Jaina. So again, Brightwing down there on that temple is able to get those shots in, help to supplement this boss with the siege camp as well. So there's a lot of pressure going into this bottom keep. 17 to 18, no level 20 talents available yet, and they're on the same talent tier. So Greymane diving in, phase shift coming in onto Jugger Rob there, but Barber's the one who's getting low. Makes it out, the Emerald Wind keeping Johanna at bay. And it looks like, I don't know which it was that killed the Mal'Ganis there, but Mal'Ganis goes down to, I guess, minions or the boss or the siege giants. But with that keep now, Full Meta Jacket pulling back. Yrel heading off to keep the pressure going in mid lane, and we see Barber coming over to get this siege camp. And I imagine that's just because Barber was so low on health that pushing in onto the core with that was not feasible for them. And Bruiser camp is now up literally to the second. Urel here as soon as they spawned. Still a minute to go on the left Bruiser camp. And our next two temples are top and mid. So those keeps are still up for both teams. So no potential, at least currently, for double temple pressure. And where are they going now? Looks like maybe they're rotating around bottom to go with the siege camp to perhaps wait for the Bruiser camp. Not wait. Okay. Well, I guess they see Mal'Ganis and Rhaegar in the top, so they're going to come down here, bring the pressure over to the core. And Johanna going in gets the cursed bullet here, and that might actually be the kill that Full Meta Jacket wants and needs to continue the pressure. But it looks like they're gonna keep going. Welcome, Silvara. Thanks for the bits. Much appreciated for the Nexus Gaming series. So I think I'm a little surprised here just in how long they're taking to get here. They're making use of the siege giants, but Jaina's gonna obliterate them pretty quickly too. Whole lot of song and dance here just to keep the Baddest Dudes not doing a lot of anything. Level 20's available here as well for Full Meta Jacket, so I think they could have done more with that. But, you know, that's okay. They're going to come back, get on these temples, and that's going to give Johanna the ability to come back onto this. And while they're sitting in a good place structure-wise, as they do have all of their keeps still up, and these towers will do a lot of damage. I don't think it's going to be enough to bring down either of these keeps. But ultimately, if they put pressure in either of these lanes, they'll be able to take one or even both of them down. So the overall ticking clock of Sky Temple health bars being your structures, certainly in favor of Full Meta Jacket, but Urel's not here, so this is a 5v4 in favor of the Baddest Dudes, and they are right onto the Murden, but here comes the phase shift onto Murden, giving him that shield, but Orphea left in the lurch is gonna go down. And now Urel by herself, but she does have that divine steed, giving her the ability to mount up instantly and vacate the premises. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I should just have my channel host the Nexus Gaming series on Sundays. Really, guys? Hey, relax. Final few shots gonna go over to the Baddest Dudes, and with this Bruiser camp that they picked up on their side, they're making their way over to the keep. They do get the condemn onto the Urel, and that Emerald Wind, now keeping in mind that Brightwing has a level 20 upgrade to Emerald Wind, so she can do it every 5 seconds if she wants to. It's just gonna cost her a lot of mana. But here they come, Cursed Bullet going out onto Rondertaker there, the Ancestral gonna be coming in. Mal'Ganis is in the bot lane, so this is the exact opposite of what we saw over the temple just a few moments ago. Wailing Arrow going out does hit just about everybody, I think, there, except for maybe Murden. And the Blessed Shield used as well to help with this disengage. So we do have the Blinded by the Light here for Johanna as well, giving her the shields for her team. 25% of their health as a shield every 60 seconds, which is reduced by 8 seconds for each time she blinds an enemy hero. So can be a pretty significant value shield. I think one of the better, if not the best option of the available Storm Shield style talents at level 20. We do have that upgraded Ardent Defender though for Urel, so even when she takes damage, she's going to provide that as healing to her allies. But we've got Johanna a little bit far forward, but she's Johanna, so she pops that Iron Skin, gets out of there. Nothing they can do about that. I mean, I feel you, Ektar. I feel like, you know, you guys have Greymane, and Greymane does a whole lot of damage, so, you know, they're playing really passively for this. And ultimately now, again, Temple's in the top and mid, so if Full Meta Jacket's able to keep these Temples, they'll be able to take out those forts, I'm sorry, those keeps, and probably even if they had both of them, take out the full core. So this is very important for the Baddest Dudes to get at least one of these temples and hold them. But even that is just it's just a slowing down. It's just a pause button in this game on their slow descent to death. And even in this bush here, they somehow managed to bring the minions in, so the bush party gets caught. So there we go. Bruiser Camp going for full meta jacket. So yeah, just as a reminder, so Baddest Dudes on the left, full meta jacket on the right. And there goes the Wailing Arrow as well as the Blessed Shield. Runtime logic going back into the Eternal Feast to try to peel the enemy team off of him for a moment there. But we're going to see... Oh, well, there's the Dread being completed here. Carrion Swarm going out and is going to help secure the kill onto Muradin. Ardent Defender used. We're going to see more Emerald Wind coming out from Brightwing here. But there are catapults and a Bruiser Camp on the core, so Mal'Ganis heading back to deal with that. And this is not very good for the Baddest Dudes at this moment, because with Mal'Ganis having to go back, this makes this equal, and they're going to split up between these 2 points. And that means that Full Meta Jacket has the opportunity to come in on this. As soon as they see that they don't have one hero here, this is now an uneven fight in their favor. And again, this is a problem, because now these shots are going onto the core. There's no shielding. Johanna's trying to get in here, but the Dread hits and eliminates Jaina. 55% on the core. They have to be on this point. Mal'Ganis doing everything he can at the back. Greymane going down thanks to that Rhaegar. Ghost Wolf chomping his way to victory. 47% on the core. But Orphea heading up to the top. She doesn't need to stay on this point for long, but she backs away from it. So Sylvanas coming up here, getting the additional damage onto this top keep to help with the pressure coming out from the temple there. Tudimos has almost no mana, and the Eternal Feast locking down the Sylvanas in that, eliminating her, sending her back to Undercity. And now we've got an even fight between these two, but again, Baddest Dudes have basically no healer, as there's just no mana available for Rhaegar, so he's got to back away. Things not looking great for the Baddest Dudes, but they're not looking amazing for Full Meta Jacket either, right at this exact moment. A lot of pressure, though, with these catapults in every single lane for Full Meta Jacket. And the next temples here going top and bottom. All right, so Siege Camp, more macro pressure. It wouldn't surprise me after they get this Siege Camp if we don't see them go up to snag the Bruiser Camp. Instead, they're going to come up here and fight, it looks like. So the face check, there goes the Curse Bullet onto Rondertaker. The Eternal Feast goes out, doesn't hit anybody there, but Hack Trick in the back. Probably looking to get that Carrion Swarm, but he doesn't have it, so not really in a position to get value there. Sylvanas just coming back into the team here. So again, another fight that ultimately ended with minimal overall damage. I mean, we did see a couple of ultimates being used. But now, with this pressure here, Full Meta Jacket picking up the boss, and at 24 minutes, this boss is likely going to end the game, especially with the core already under half health. But we're rotating around here. Tudimos onto Jugger Rob, trying to get the kill, but the Polymorph going out. Rhaegar trying to get away now. This is 3 versus 5. Jaina nowhere nearby. And the reinforcements coming in, separating out Full Meta Jacket, putting the team to sleep. But again, there's still a boss marching to core. And if it wasn't already bad, it just got worse for the Baddest Dudes, as the temple's available now. And we already have Greymane getting the channel started. And that's looking very much like it's going to be the end of game number 1 here. Polymorph onto the Mal'Ganis. But game number 1, all wrapped up. And that's going to be game number 1 going over to full meta jacket on Sky Temple. Take a look at stats here real quick. All right. So give me just a moment because I have to actually go out, log in again to all of Heroes of the Storm because it fully disconnects you from Battle.net.
What do you say? Ready to have a little fun?
All right, Somnorium, thanks for the follow of the Nexus Gaming series. If you'd like to catch some of my casts, you're certainly welcome to visit over at twitch.tv/Aero of the Storm, where I do my regular casting throughout the week. All right, there we go.
The conquest begins.
Pay no attention to the Zerg. That's just me. Just me hosting the channel. Almost feels a little awkward hosting myself on. Anyways. Yep, Chaotic will be joining me for the next one. Yeah. Dive match. Oh my goodness, this game. Pre-patch replay casting is a little bit more of a pain in the neck. Isn't Alice just like the greatest? She always has the best commentary. All right, so that was game number 1. Let's get set up for game number 2 here. So game number 2 is going to be on Infernal Shrines. Gonna say, what happened to my music? We've got, this was the map pick of full meta jacket. So the last one was of the Baddest Dudez. All right, let's see here. Just 1 second as I get the pop-ups set up here for you guys. All right, all set up. Hey, what are you doing? You want to say hi? Alice, come here. Come here. Say hi. Come here. Come on. Come say hi. There you go. Say hi to everybody. That's all she's got. Pause this. Alright, so once again, we'll get the sound adjusted so it doesn't blow you guys out there. Thanks again for the bits there, Solara. Alice is most appreciative. All right, I think we are all set. Yes, Alice is the dog. Hey, quiet. There we go. All right, so let's get into this game, shall we? Game number 2. Infernal Shrines between the Baddest Dudes and Full Meta Jacket. On the left, we have the Baddest Dudes. We've got Tudimos on Rhaegar, Rondertaker on ETC, Hack Trick on Blaze, Savior 123 is going to be playing that Orphea this time, and Cactus Ham on Kira. On the right, for Full Meta Jacket, we've got Undead 752 on Varian, Juggerob on Mephisto, Barber on Greymane, Modus Trollin on Brightwing, and Runtime Logic on Johanna. So a little bit of traitor action going on here as Johanna switching sides. Now, in case you're wondering about what the bans were for this game, the Baddest Dudes banned out Dahaka, Gul'dan, and Jaina. Full Meta Jacket banned out Anubarak, Arthas, and Diablo. So there you have it. And we'll pop this up here just to give you an idea of the questing talents here. From time to time it's ungainly, but unfortunately the overlay doesn't work the same when you're using older observer setup. So we'll go ahead and hide that for now. ETC power sliding in onto the Johanna and Brightwing. Ultimately just getting some stacking in there for the team. What questing talents did we get? So we had that Skull Missile. We had the Lion's Fang out of Varian. Interesting enough there. Doesn't really give a lot away. It could go into any of the various builds. Hypershift again for Brightwing, so not a surprise. And what's the name of this talent? Fatal Wounds Quest for Kira. And of course, new habits there for Blaze, giving him that unstoppable later in the game. Sorry, it just sounded there for a second like I had other music going on and had to listen very carefully for it, but it doesn't sound like it's actually going, so never mind. So interestingly enough, we see Johanna here watching Cactus Ham do all of the hard work, heavy lifting, and walking in with the Mephisto and Brightwing and stealing that camp. So Full Meta Jacket coming right out of the gate here, getting level 4 a little bit ahead, and stealing the mid siege camp. That still did go with the bot camp over to the Baddest Dudes, so they're not too far behind in that. Also, we got Block Party for the ETC to help out with the damage from the Greymane. And our Taunt Varian versus Blaze up in the top lane. Watch them for a moment. A little bit of a skirmish in the mid lane, but it doesn't look like anybody's taking any significant damage. You know, gotta highlight, showcase our solo laners every once in a while. They put in good work, and they never get the actual credit for all the effort that they put in. All right. Both teams picking up their shaman camps here, slightly ahead for the Baddest Dudes, but they're going to be heading over to this arcane shrine here very soon. And right now it's just the two, Mephisto and Johanna here, but Varian showing up to the party. And here come the rest of Full Meta Jacket. So we do have a full 5 versus 5 here. Let's zoom out a little bit just so that we can see everybody. And damage going out. There's the taunt onto Hack Trick, but it's Rondertaker taking all of that damage. Look at Kira coming in as well. But still, no kills out of that. So just some significant pressure to force the ETC to go back. And that's going to give them enough time to at least catch up on the Shrine Defenders. And there they are now even. So there's still a possibility for the Baddest Dudes to come in here and make something happen out of this. This is an early Arcane Defender, so it's not going to be a crazy amount of damage, but still, don't want to give it up if you don't have to. Barber getting caught, though, is not quite able to make it out, as Rhaegar able to finish that up. So 33 to 31 now. This looks like probably going to go over to the Baddest Dudes. And it does. But up in the top, we do have the Shaman camp. It is getting a little bit of value here. It did get some damage onto this fort wall. And Varian was up here to soak the lane and keep an eye on it, but ultimately, he can't really do anything against a Rhaegar and the Blaze. Not as a taunt. Let's see. Fair enough. You know what? I'll fix my overlay there so that it actually reflects Alice as the co-caster. I usually do, for whatever reason. When I set it up today, I didn't have that set up. So, but yes, Alice is the I just woke the beast, apparently. Alice is the best co-caster, one of the two that shows up regularly here on the stream. Mephisto coming in there, slowing things down for just a moment, but again, with his little rubber band yo-yo ability, he's not really able to put a pause on it for too long, and just gets a little bit of damage out there. Maybe trying to work on that level 1 quest. Speaking of which, he's a little bit over half. Varian almost complete. He's a little bit past 80%, whereas Kira sitting at about 40% of what she needs. We're gonna see this power slide in, and Juggy Rob does use his teleport there to get out. And this looks like Full Meta Jacket able to come in and secure this siege camp in the bottom. Yes, I know, and so I've been turning it off after a short bit in the game, just to, especially because it also overlays the bottom half. The overlay looks different because it is a replay cast that was pre-patch, so the actual the overlay itself is different. But we're gonna see this invade here onto the siege camp again. You know, Full Meta Jacket has been all about coming in on these camps, taking them when they can, and just being an overall menace here to the Baddest Dudes. They're gonna have to have some kind of answer to that. While they haven't had any significant value out of these camps, they get cleared up pretty quickly, and the XP is not too far. It is a slight advantage for Full Meta Jacket, and if the Baddest Dudes can do that, or can defend these at some point, then they'll get some value out of this, I think. Yeah, exactly. It's basically the baseline Blizzard UI overlay for the system, because they don't allow you to change things after patch. So that is absolutely true, Somnorium, about the solo laners. Like, oftentimes you can be talking about this nothing skirmish happening in the middle, like we see right now. There's nothing going on down here. Granted, there's quite literally nothing going on up here with the solo laners either. There's I half expected to see a tumbleweed go in between the two of them. But anyways, down in the bot lane. Thank you, Alice. That was perfect timing. Down in the bot lane, we do have the Frozen Shrine coming up here. So Shaman Camp's being picked up by both teams. They're both level 10 now. And so the Shaman Camp is going to allow them to have pressure in the top lane while they fight over this bottom line. Yeah, you know what? Tumbleweed, like, OP solo lane. Just saying. Gets all the XP. That should be, you know what? That should be an Abathur, like, they should make some kind of Abathur skin with a Tumbleweed as its minion, instead of doing the little beetle things. But anyway, so Durance was interrupted there. Durance of Hate from Mephisto. Ultimately here, looking for that Mosh Pit Eternal Feast combination coming out from Baddest Dudes. They do also have the Jet Propulsion Combustion, so I don't know what happened there. That Mosh was polymorphed, but it kept going. So I don't know if he had a frame perfect cleanse or what, but it kept going even with the polymorph. So no kills. I'm so confused at what, like, that should have been interrupted and Mephisto should have had all of the plays in the world there. Gonna have to go back and check that out later. What is that? About 8:45 in the game here. So Punisher over the wall gets the structure shut down, and this is the time that Full Metal Jacket needs to burn this down as quickly as possible while this wall still exists. Runtime Logic trying to slow that down, because here come the baddest dudes, and there's the jump in onto Varian. He did use that protect, but holy cow, is he taking a load of damage. Durance of Hate goes out onto the ETC, spreads to damn near everybody. Cactus Ham getting a full ancestral, able to keep him in the fight, but it's going to be Greymane going down first. The Punisher getting one last stun, and the fort lives. But up in the top lane, the Shaman Camp still going for the baddest dudes, getting this wall, taking down the towers. By the way, I just want to shout out Full Metal Jacket for pinging that for me so that I could highlight this. It's almost like they knew that the caster wasn't watching up here. So yeah, somebody should go back and clip that, because I don't know. I'm assuming there was a cleanse in there, but even ETC was like he had that kind of awkward look about him where his head's down, like he's fallen asleep, like when ETC gets, you know, put to sleep by Ana or Mal'Ganis. So he had that look about him, but the mosh pit kept going. But anyways, enough about 3 minutes ago here. Camp's getting picked up all over the place here by the baddest dudes, and that's what I mentioned earlier, is once they can start getting these camps and keep the pressure going in their favor, they're going to have a much better position in this game, rather than being just a step or two behind. And part of that's just because of the comp that Full Metal Jacket has. But we do have that Skull Missile quest completed for Mephisto. Also, the cocktail at 12 stacks now out of 15. Looks like Varian's going into that Mortal Strike. So a pretty common pick here. That's going to help out with negating the Ancestral Healing and the other long cooldown chain healing that Rhaegar brings. But Varian is a little bit caught out here, and it looks like Blaze is going to get him slowed. I expect to see a stun. There's the jet propulsion coming in. Brightwing is going to phase shift in, does try to get the Emerald Wind, but gets knocked away. And with the Eternal Feast Mosh Pit combo, that's going to be a double kill onto Varian and Brightwing. And that's one of those moments where I think that you just have to accept that you've lost somebody. Let the grief happen and get value elsewhere. Because Brightwing really wasn't worth losing the Brightwing for what was definitely a kill onto the Varian there. And now is a free fort for the baddest dudes. So we see the pings coming out, calling for the XP there in the bot lane. And now we're making our way. Once again, Shaman Camp going to be the priority for the baddest dudes. Not yet for Full Metal Jacket, so they may actually look to try to invade this, especially with Rhaegar in the mid lane, showing visible there. And there goes the Durance. It hits Blaze. It looks like it won't hit anybody else. He pops the Unstoppable, so the knockback coming out from ETC. But the Emerald Wind is going to allow for them to steal the Shaman Camp and presumably get out of dodge. The Brightwing did fall in there though, so I'm still not sure if that's worth it, especially since it looks like Varian's gonna fall as well. So they did get the Shaman Camp, but now that's gonna give the baddest dudes a nice, comfortable, easy, quote-unquote easy time to get started on this mid shrine. And of course, this mid shrine's going into a keep, so the Shaman Camp will, I believe, it'll eventually clear itself out, because it'll never have minions from its own side to help it. So it should eventually, well, or it'll definitely clear itself out if Orvia goes to help it. And level 16 is now available for the baddest dudes. So they've got a pretty solid advantage here. They're a full level ahead. They're almost complete with this Punisher. It's a Mortar Punisher, so any lockdown they get is going to just get compounded by the mortar damage from the Punisher. Greymane's gonna try to get the Shaman Camp to get some pressure while this fight is going on. Maybe peel somebody off from the baddest dudes. But they're rotating in on this. They're gonna catch this Greymane, and ETC not quite able to catch him, but they're gonna get a free camp. So it had the, I guess, partially intended effect of pulling the team away, but even the Punisher only about 10% down by the time they were able to get down here. We do see the power slide in and the mosh pit follow-up. I don't know how he got out. But whatever. Must have been somebody who managed to interrupt the, I wonder, let's take a look at the Brightwing here. Oh, I can't see her stuff. Okay. Well, let's take a look at what else is going on here. Final Strike does go out, manage to complete the kill on Devarian, and that means Baddest Dudes making their way onto the core, and with only 3 up and available, this could very well be the end of the game, going out for the Baddest Dudes. Core at half health, Combustion coming out from the Blaze, slowing everybody down, getting that damage out there. Curse Bullet going out on the Blaze too, but he's just fine sitting in his fire. And that's game number 2 going over to the Baddest Dudes. That means we're going to game number 3 in this replay cast between the Baddest Dudes and Full Meta Jacket. Eight kills to none. Baddest Dudes playing a hell of a game. And they didn't even finish the quest talent for Orphea at level 7. I mean, that almost tells you how significantly they played this game. They avoided their opponents when they didn't need to, and ultimately only took the fights they needed to over. And even in some cases, quote unquote, needed to. They pulled themselves back on some fights like the siege camps, and really pushed in on the shrines. So well played by the Baddest Dudes. This is looking like it's going to be a really good match here. So let's go ahead and get set up for game number 3. Again, we'll take just a moment while we get that set up. Huh. That is absolutely insane, Ektar. Like, I'm glad that you went back and looked at it though, because it's just crazy that was so close. So yeah, bonus points for Tudimos on that cleanse, because that really saved that. That fight could have turned the other direction pretty quickly. The second weirdest? What was the first weirdest? What was number 1, Ektar? All right, let's see. So game number 3 is going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And let's see. So Tomb of the Spider Queen, this was selected by the Baddest Dudes. Looks like both teams preferring their first pick. I didn't even do the pop-ups that game. Darn it, I spent all that time doing them, and I didn't even do them. Yeah, I think I've seen something like that take place. It's probably like from the center point out, if I had to guess. For the Void Prison. All right, that is all set up, so let's go ahead and pop into this game. Game number 3 is going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Let's take a look at these maps here while we wait for this to load. Again, Full Meta Jacket taking game number 1, which is on Sky Temple. It was selected by the Baddest Dudes. The Baddest Dudes taking game number 2 on Infernal Shrines, which was selected by Full Meta Jacket. Our bans today, Battlefield of Eternity and Dragonshire were banned out by the Baddest Dudes. Full Meta Jacket banning out Alterac Pass and Volsky Foundry. All right, let's get the sound fixed here. All right. There we go. Game number 3 between the Baddest Dudes and Full Meta Jacket is all set up and ready to go. Let's take a look here at this game. And leave that up for now. On the left, after evening up the series, we have the Baddest Dudes. Tudimos on Malfurion, Rondertaker on Johanna, Cactus Ham on Sylvanas, Savior 123 on Orphea, and Thrall going to be played by Hacktrick. And on the right, looking to continue with the 1 point they got from game number 1, we've got Juggerob on Jaina, Modus Trollin on Anduin, Runtime Logic on ETC, Barber on Greymane, and Arthas going to be played by Undead 752. It's Full Meta Jacket. Alrighty, so we're going to see Arthas heading down into the bot lane at the beginning here. And just taking a look at these talents here, so it looks like we've got, that is Prog Rock, right? Yeah, Prog Rock for ETC. Going into the Eternal Hunger for Arthas, so auto attack build for him against the Thrall, but Thrall taking neither Echo of the Elements or Crash Lightning. He's instead going with Rolling Thunder, so getting that, I think, cooldown reduction in that as well as the mana. Oh, Chain Lightning bounces, that's what it is. So everything else looks like what we've seen earlier. We do see Fingers of Frost for Jaina going into that orb build, or I'm sorry, the regen glow build rather than the lingering chill we saw earlier on the other side. So Rondertaker into the team here, getting some damage, ultimately able to walk away because Johanna. And we're going to see Sylvanas making the rotation down here, coming down to get this siege camp, and we'll see if Full Meta Jacket is mindful of this. The camps on this map don't tend to get picked up as often as other maps, but if they're aware that Sylvanas is missing, I expect that they will. I mean, they've been all over the camp invades this game, so, or this series, so it would not surprise me to see them come in on this. Undertaker getting slowed down there, getting a little bit of damage coming from the Jaina and allowing her to stack a little bit of her baseline trait quest. And this could be a big problem here for Undertaker. Even with that Iron Skin, there's the possibility they could get this kill, but not quite. And Sylvanas does get that camp and moves on. That's it. So now we're going to see Thrall turning in his 9 mid here, followed up by 9 from the side of Full Meta Jacket. Let's go ahead and pop off those team names so you can actually see talents and all that stuff. Looks like ETC just keeping vision on the top portion here, making sure that Baddest Dudes don't have an opportunity to turn in, at least certainly not for free. Yeah, I always thought Void was instant too, but based on that description, I could see it, you know, having a point of origin. All right, solo laners, do something cool. Somebody make something happen down here. You're out of your time. Sorry, guys. We tried, but you know what? At least this time there was movement. We didn't just watch two people watching from Alaska and Russia looking at each other over the I don't want to say the wrong name now that I think about it. But anyway, so here we get the root onto the Greymane. A lot of follow-up, but ETC with the peels making sure that Greymane's able to get out of there. Boo. Welcome, Denkstrom. Well, a little bit of action happened down here because Hacktrick is low on mana, well, in health, having to pull back and get the tap. That's what I was thinking that it was, and I was like, wait a minute, that could be somewhere else. Right, I know, Ektar, like, why wouldn't you make use of a glitch talent, or not a talent, but glitch ability to let you run around with a graphic? Speaking of graphic glitches, though, the grappling hook problem with Kira, I think they fixed that recently, now that I think about it. I haven't played her that much recently, but that was super annoying. And I know other heroes had that, like Sonya had it at some point and all that stuff. Let's check in with our solo laners. They're all hanging back here, just trying to let Arthas come into him for the most part here. Both teams now have enough gems for the turn-in, and we are going to see Full Meta Jacket getting most of what they need turned in. They only need 2 more. And Arthas able to get that in the bot lane here as Thrall was, once again, pulled pretty far back, trying to play relatively safely. Orphea heading back, filling up on the mana. And this is not a sight you see every day. Malfurion up defending in the top lane solo. As Cactus Hand and Rondertaker coming in here. But Runtime Logic able to power slide in and knock back Cactus Hand. So 4v4 up in the top, full dedication from these teams aside from their solo laners. That wave going out, hitting, I think 3. I think it actually hit Malfurion, and Cactus Hand, because of that, now having to pull away, almost goes down just from that damage with the cocktail and the spider wave. And that's one of those things, I yell it out all the time, you know, dodge the spider wave, just like calling out the lava waves. Like, you just got to be mindful of where they are, because they're slow moving, they're obvious things, but they're free damage. Like, there's no reason to take that extra couple hundred points of damage. But here we go, so still 4 versus 3 now, as Cactus Ham went to the mid lane to clean up the spider in the middle there. As it did get the full wall. Thrall versus Arthas here in the bot lane, though. Not a whole lot of that Thrall's able to do here without getting slowed and rooted and damage caused here from the Arthas, but we're gonna see this rotation coming down now from the Baddest Dudes, looking for the first kill of the game, and they get it. Not only do they get it, but they pull off 26 gems. Big kill for the Baddest Dudes. And that's going to give them an opportunity to turn in here, I would think. Maybe? No? They're going to get the siege camp instead. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Cactus Ham had, like, maybe single digits there. So I feel like this kill onto the Arthas was largely... I don't want to say wasted. They did get a siege camp out of it, but now they're trying to turn in when it's a 5v5. And they don't have Orpheus, so it's really 4v5. Power slide into the Cactus Ham. We'll see if he can get out of this. He tries to use that Haunting Wave out. Does get out. The root used to help peel for the team here, as Orphea now making her way down. So still 28 out of 50 for the Baddest Dudes. Not a single gem, I think, turned in since they got that kill onto Arthas. And they're surrounded here. So it looks like Full Meta Jacket, now that Baddest Dudes have level 10, Full Meta Jacket mostly pulling back, trying to stall out what they can, sending Greymane up to the top to get their level 10s, which they now have achieved. And I feel like this is kind of a battle here, trying to get this turn in. We did get the interrupt onto the Mosh, though, so that is on a short cooldown, but Thrall's going to go down paying for it from the Jaina. Arthas, however, pays for it on the other side. Orphea deep into the back, trying to survive, not able to. Just not enough self-healing there. And with the Web Weavers coming up onto the table here, 2 dead on the side of the Baddest Dudes, 1 dead on the side of Full Meta Jacket. So these Web Weavers probably are not going to get a ton of value. I wasn't going to call that out there as well. The zoning lash, yeah, for sure. All right, so mid already cleared up here. Sylvanas trying to get some value out of the bot lane, shutting off this tower to keep the spider alive as long as possible, but the root does land onto Juggerrob there. The slow's coming out from Jaina, keeping things slowed down, but the kill picked up by Sylvanas. Does not have that haunting wave again, though. I'm surprised that that Chastise missed. If that was any closer to Sylvanas, she would be wearing a halo right now. So ultimately, the structure advantage right now, anyways, going over to the Baddest Dudes, as this one still has a couple hundred health available to it in the top lane. And already 42 gems, learning from their earlier mistake, able to get as many turned in as they possibly can, while Full Meta Jacket working on their camp off here to the right. Let's take a look here at questing talents while we've got a few moments. So Greymane, it seems like last time I looked at Greymane, he had 12 stacks of cocktail build as well. 8 stacks for the root quest there for Malfurion. 7 so far for Dread. 13 and 14 for Arthas and ETC, but here's that power slide. And Johanna getting the cursed bullet, but able to get healed back up. Blessed Shield going out, but the Leap of Faith pulling Jaina out. However, Condemn pulling her back in, but the Salvation keeping her safe. Yeah, I agree, Zul. I think Sylv thought she was rooted too, because she just stood there for a moment. And Hack Trick is going to get caught by the Chastise, but the Mosh Pit as well, locking him down. However, Wailing Arrow was used to interrupt, but it didn't matter as Malfurion went down elsewhere. Big root onto 2 here. Sylvanas going down as Greymane diving in hard. And Johanna getting picked off by the other half of Full Meta Jacket. And we see them now making the rotation up to the boss, and this should be an easy boss plus turn if they can get through it quickly. And Arthas making use of his ability to clear lane to push that up a little bit here and hold anchor, as now the rest of the Baddest Dudes are back on the map. They're going to pick up their bruiser camp here to help counter the pressure that's going to be coming in the mid lane. But I mean, ultimately, with the boss and a turn here, it's entirely possible that this could even turn into an end game if Full Meta Jacket's able to get a kill. Mosh Max and all right, so power slide in, knockback. We see the cursed bullet going out. Tudimos is healing himself up with the regrowth. But so far, this wall is going down pretty quickly here. The boss already at half health. And here comes the spider. The Web Weaver will land about the same time this tower goes down. And Thrall's not with him, but neither is Arthas. And I gotta say, I think this was maybe a misplay. I think that if Arthas was here, that this becomes, I mean, this could, again, I mentioned it earlier, I think it could be game then. Power slide in onto 2, the knockback. Malfurion getting rooted and obliterated. But there's the Blessed Shield coming out, trying to pull him into the Eternal Feast. ETC is stuck in there for entirely too long. But Salvation used. Wailing Arrow also popped to make sure that that goes down quickly. So not a lot of healing from that, but they do get the keep. And at this point, with that, there's not enough of this Web Weaver. I think that's as far as they go. Arthas did get the mid fort. And they're going to get this mid, most, if not all of this mid wall as well. And there's the, once again, the power slide in here. Dive onto Hack Trick from the Greymane. They pull ETC out of the, out of danger. Arthas, with his army of the undead, is going to be able to make it out there. Baddest Dudes struggling to get the kills there that they needed. 3 kills to 6 so far in this game in favor of Full Meta Jacket. Not, again, not a high kill count game. But ultimately, Full Meta Jacket getting the value that they need to when they get these kills. This is Division D West. So here we go. Blue team getting up in the top lane, able to get their gems turned in. And they're going to try to clear up as much as they can in the top to get that Web Weaver moving on the map. Try to equalize at least some of this pressure. But there's, again, a siege camp in the bot lane here. So Sylvanas is going to have to deal with that because that'll clear the Web Weaver pretty quickly by itself. Mid lane also going to get cleared very quickly with a full 5-man rotation, and that's going to allow them now to rotate up to the top. We have most of our ults available on both teams. No Mosh yet, but that's it. Big old zoning route with Broccoli here to keep the team pushed back. Sundering goes out, isolates the tanks. Leap of Faith coming up to keep ETC out of it, but he's got a Mosh coming in. Big Ring of Frost hitting just about everybody there. Eternal Feast used at the wall. Johanna's going to go down thanks to that. ETC's going to power slide in. He does have a Mosh, uses it for the kill onto Thrall. And now, even with the blue Web Weavers being the champions right now on the table, it looks like Full Meta Jacket's going to make their way here. Root coming out, trying to zone out the team for just another moment, but not enough. Full Meta Jacket making their way onto the core, and with only Sylvanas and Orphea, it's going to be a tough call to try to find a way to kill enough people here that Full Meta Jacket doesn't clear this core, but it's looking pretty solid for them. And with Johanna, a little bit more value there, trying to get everybody together. They are getting a lot of damage on the Greymane, but Greymane is just getting everything he can onto the core. And game number 3 going over to Full Meta Jacket. And you know what? Oh, never mind. I was going to say, I'm just going to leave this on the screen for a moment so we can watch that Eternal Feast, just have fun. Because whoever gets to watch Eternal Feast, right? I was just trying to run away from it. So game number 3 going over to Full Meta Jacket. That is going to give them the series 2-1 over the Baddest Dudes. Let's take a look at these talents. One important factor here, of course, Jaina never actually finished her Frostbite at level 1, but ultimately didn't even need it, right? They won the game without it. Overall, pretty huge disparity there between the Malfurion and Anduin on the healing. Damage looks pretty similar on both sides overall. Overall, these teams felt pretty equal for the most part between these, really all 3 games. Full Meta Jacket just had, 5% overall better circumstances. In game number 1, I think that they could have won a little bit earlier. In game number 3, I think they could have won a little bit earlier. But you know what? Ultimately, they got the 2-1 victory. And giving themselves the extra couple of points. Let's take a look. I think the standings show here. That's not what I want. I wanted that one. So Full Meta Jacket going into the playoffs, sitting at rank number 1. The Baddest Dudes actually sitting at either 6 or 7, depending on how they hold the tiebreaker with Randy Newman. And actually, it looks like they were 7, and apparently they lost to Clouded Minds in round 1 of the playoffs. So there you go. Hashtag spoiler alert. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on the NGS Rewind later today here, in just a few minutes, let me show you the schedule here. So in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by Chaotic, and we're going to catch In Too Deep versus Sky 5, a Division A match that came up earlier this week. Now, that is not a playoff match because Division A and Heroic are 1 week behind. After that, we're going to catch Wood League versus Do It Right with Ektar. And our last match of the day is actually a playoff match. It's going to be between Heroes of the United States and Rush B, the number 1 and number 8 seeds out of Div B East. And that is a playoff game, and Butte Holiday is going to join me for that. So make sure you stick around for that. We'll be back here in just a few minutes as we get set up for series number 2.